This is Jim Mitchell. We're back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast. Let's get right into it. First, we have I truly don't understand how you can tell people that the police are racist, white supremacy is on the rise, and the government is just the enforcement wing of the multinational corporate power. But you should give up your guns. From Josh Eagle on Twitter, and I said, people will justify anything if it falls within if the narrative enough. If it falls in line with the narrative enough. You know, it can be like, oh, fascism's on the rise. They're going to genocide all the LGBTQ, BIPOC, neurodiverse people. But they'll say, oh, we need gun control because that's just what the narrative says. Because, you know, if you think there's going to be a genocide any day now, you think you'd want to have guns. But no, we need gun control because the TV says so. And that's how people think. They think whatever the narrative is. And that's just seems to be the way people think these days. Then we have Israel First from Scott Horton. And I said, Israel first, Ukraine second, USA somewhere around 150th. The USA is not my concern. That's what Mike Pence said when he was talking to Tucker. And people wonder why Trump went on a campaign of America first, but he was in the pockets of the globalists as well. The thing is that it's all about grifting for these other countries and just throwing money at them while the American people suffer. And that's all it is. So government's a giant grift. That's why I think we need to get rid of it and make it voluntary. So if they want to grift with their own money, I think they should be able to, but they're grifting off of taxpayer dollars, and I don't think that's the right option. Then we have for the greater good equals government enslavement, and by Pat Brown down, and it's a image of I think some speakers, and it says most people have no idea how thin the line is between for your safety and for your enslavement, and I would agree with that. You know, the thing is that people will justify anything if it's marketed to them as safety and keeping them safe, and that's how the government is going to wrap you in its chains. You know, it's like George Orwell says, ignorant. It's like in 1984, ignorance is strength. What is it? Ignorance is strength. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. And that's how, you know, we want people safe. You know, so if you're free, you're in fact a slave. So that's why it's like that's what the government does. They say, oh, we can't have you be, you know, safety is inherently violence. So that's all they justify, you know. So that's why you should, if you want to be safe, I mean, you should be able to, but you shouldn't force other people to be safe as long as you're not violating the NAP. Yet another study finds that support for redistribution is correlated with lower intelligence from Ruin My Circle Jerk, and that is from NCBI, NIM, and that's another study. It's kind of a, kind of a circle jerk, but, you know, I think, you know, if you want to support redistribution, if you want to say that study is correct, I think you should be able to, you know, just justify whatever studies you want, you know, as long as you don't force them down over people's throats. Like, if you don't think masks are effective, you should think masks are effective, but I don't think you should force other people to think that. So yeah. Pence says abortion should be banned for non-viable pregnancies from thehill.com. Mike Pence is, I think, you know, he's just shining on this abortion hill, and I don't think he's going anywhere. Yeah, so let's see. Federal officials can keep pressing tech platforms to remove content for now, court says from Reason.com, and I posted that, and I said, it did not elaborate on there's a quote in there, it did not elaborate on its reasoning for issuing the temporary stay of the court. Just goes to show what the government can do whatever it wants. It doesn't even need a reason, you know. The government can fucking do whatever it wants, you know. It finds a way to get around the Constitution and Bill of Rights whenever possible. So it doesn't really matter what it wants. You will justify what it justifies. That's why I think the government is inherently illegitimate. That's why I don't think we should be listening to it. Because he told Twitter, please remove something. That's absolutely a free speech violation, but especially when it comes from someone in a position of government power. You know, you shouldn't. They were saying, "Oh, you gotta remove these. You gotta do this. You gotta do that." You know, that's sadly it's a violation of government power. Then we have conservatives are more likely to complain in everyday serious context due to their higher sense of entitlement from sidepost.org. You know, believe whatever you want. You know, I don't really believe in all these science studies. You know, just believe whatever you want. If you want, I think everyone's seems to be very entitled these days, and that's regardless of where they are on the political spectrum. Then we have you taken the car pill yet from Bad Philosophy 82? That's a YouTube video from Climate Town. Parking laws are strangling America. And I think, you know, if you want to take to believe that. I think you should be able to, but I think we should be allowing more. Not, I don't think we should have all these road laws. I think as long as you're not violating the NAP, you should be able to do whatever you want on the road, as long as it's not hurting anyone else. Alabama Republicans, despite Supreme Court ruling, reject call for second majority black district. Republicans oppose non-white representative government. From AP News from Tri-Town 20. That just goes to show you the government, as I said, it can justify anything as long as it fits with the narrative enough. The Constitution might say something, but they'll find a way around it. This is from obviously from a right wing perspective, but you can see tons of examples from that as the left wing as well. So it doesn't matter what the rules are. The government will find a way around them. That's why there are no rules in government. That they make the rules and they can go around them whenever possible. That's why I think the government is illegitimate. FYI, this is the offer of the article telling you not watch Sound of Freedom from Shoe Head on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, and that was about that Noah Berlatsky, and he wrote a piece for Bloomberg criticized Sound of Freedom. Fair enough, that is current seminary over now. He's also said pedophiles are essentially a stigmatized group. Certain people get designated as deviants. People hate them. That was a tweet of his. Parents are tyrants. Parent is an oppressive class like rich people or white people. That was another tweet of his. Child sex workers biggest threat. The police article for the New Republic. He wrote. Some more from his blog, biological sexism and let children vote. The thing is that, Berlatsky, that it doesn't matter what if the people who write narrative, the government, the media will platform them, and that's Berlatsky's good case of that. He could openly say, "Oh, I support pedophiles. They should be able to have sex as long as we classify them as long as they say they have those right political reviews and they are with mature minors." But it doesn't matter that he said if he would say that, because he says the right narrative, and people won't go after someone if they say the right narrative. Then we have Arizona LP on Twitter from Dr. Who 07, and that is, they tweeted, "Holy crap, you guys have moved on to killing your own dogs now," and as the ATF HQ said that one of their dogs died. So yeah, that the ATF, fuck them, fuck all the people who try and enforce the laws. I think, if their dog dies, that's how it goes sometimes, but they also kill another guy's dog, so, that's life. Dogs are going to die. People might kill them. They might die of heat stroke. Life is unfair. Subreddit mods have concurred that we will no longer be manually post the Reddit flags as spam from Ninja Lover, and I would personally disagree with that. I think for being uncensored means you should allow spam and bot posts, because it's all free speech. We gotta be a free speech absolutist, but they're in a position of power, and that's how life is sometimes. People in positions of power can force their things down your throat even if you don't like them. August firearm safety from International Silver 1. That's the crosspost from the r/Flower City Firearms, and I do think this will be more of a left-wing gun group, but I do definitely think I think the pro-gun leftists, they're kind of better than the anti-pro-gun leftists, because at least they managed to question the narrative on at least one subject, so that's good at least. Poll: millennials want to make misgendering a crime from Reason, and I posted that, and I said I already posted this from Brad Palumbo's tweet, but it is something that I think deserves to be called as much as possible, especially with how many people within the U.S. has in prison already, as the article notes. Then Frosty Slawman replied, "Make speeding is a crime. Car use is an all-time high. Speeding is the reason for the Phil prison system." I said, "Already pushing for misgendering tickets. I'm on Reddit tonight." That's the thing. If Reddit had its way, we probably would have misgendering tickets and tickets for wrong think and wrong speech. And that's just how bad things are getting. And I think, that's probably going to get worse as time goes on. But we can try and fight it as much as possible, as long as they don't try and bully them on us. I think if you don't want to pay a ticket and they try and arrest you over it, I think you can stand your ground, and just if they try and use violence, you can use violence back. So that's life for you. Everyone wants to bully their things on you and maybe use violence. So just stand your ground, say no, and if they try and fight you with violence, just say fuck you. I'm fighting back. So yeah. And another guy commenting, second-hand politics on okay, I say disagree. It's not okay for making anything that can be considered offensive illegal. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be, it's you're deemed offensive. That's now illegal. So I think that's not the right way to go. I think we need to. I don't think you should be a jerk and offensive, but you should be able to be if you want to, as long as you're not violating the NAP. but I don't think that's how our society's going. Perspective: The Untold History of Affirmative Action for White People from Washington Post, WAPO.st by Patam 13. And, I guess, there might be some, WAPO's definitely agenda piece. So, they're definitely MSM, so they're just definitely shoving narratives down, I would say, that, would support whatever the DNC says. So I wouldn't read too much into that article. Migrants cut by razor wire, denied water at Texas-Mexico border, DPS emails show from the DallasNews.com. And I would agree that's a little too, from CL 5563, I agree that's a little too far, because, but that's the thing of the border. That's why I don't think we should have national borders and all that, because people are just gonna people will just justify using all the force on them. So I think, we should just abolish the idea of the nation and the border, go wherever you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone else and not living off of government welfare. Next we have Microsoft lost its keys and the government got hacked by TechCrunch by Frosty Slawman. And yeah, that's the thing with that's the thing of the government. They're embedded with the private corporations, and the private corporations can break down, so only can the government break down, because they're so embedded with them. Southern Poverty Law Center has become a left-wing, money-grabbing slander machine from John Stossel on Twitter, and I posted for my YouTube. I posted that. I said, agreed. I wouldn't be surprised if the LP ended up on its list soon, because they now are listing anti-government groups in addition to hate groups. I would argue that is what the LP is, an anti-government groups. Some groups listed, such as No Left Turn Education, work with trying to serve people like Sarah Higdon as well. But that's the SPCL is official. It's the DNC. They'll probably list anyone. If you question the DNC official DNC narrative, you're going to be on the SPCL's list. So fuck the SPCL. They're just a bunch of bullies, who just want to bully you to get their way. That's what most people are. They're just a bunch of bullies who want to get bullied to get their way. So stand up for yourself. Say fuck you. I'm not, and you're irrelevant to me. Why fake kidnapping stories are everywhere these days, from chatterzone.substack.com by Patam 13. And I think there are probably some fake stories out there. I don't know. I don't know. This might probably pushing this because of the Sound of Freedom. Say, there's no such thing as human trafficking, but there are probably some fake kidnappings. I would agree, but I definitely think that doesn't mean we shouldn't still be carried about the legitimate child trafficking and legitimate human trafficking. Maine has lithium America needs, but won't allow mining, from Time.com by Ninja Lover. I would agree that's definitely. They should definitely allow mining. People should be able to use their natural resources, even if the government says otherwise. $6.2 billion Pentagon accounting error went to Ukraine military aid, from Powerful JRE on YouTube. And I posted that, and I said, if any of us misplace $6.2 billion, we would be given multiple life sentences, but the U.S. government can do it, and no one will care. Pirates and emperors at its finest. On September 10, 2021, the U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld disclosed that his department was unable to account for roughly $2.3 trillion worth of transactions, and the next day 9/11 happened. Really makes you think. So, they can lose all the money they want, and no one will hold them accountable, but when we lose money, we're going to lose like $3, we're going to be held accountable. So that's just life. It's unfair. People in positions of power can get away with a lot of shit. We justify a lot of government shit that we won't justify for anyone else. And that's why I think we should view the government as illegitimate. Nice, eugenics based on individualism, from Beige Forever. You can't breed until you have at least a 12th grade education. Brown and black people have a problem with this. They are sex machines. You prove ability to provide material support for your brats. You provide best ever guarantee society at large. You are also promoted to school or vote for Trump. So I think you should. I disagree with that. But if you don't think eugenics is libertarian, I think you should be able to. But I think that's very unlibertarian. I think you should be able to do whatever you want for your own body, as long as you're able to consent. I don't think 12-year-olds should be consenting to sex, but as long as you're over the age of consent, you should be able to do whatever you want, no matter what. No matter what the other side says. No matter what other people say. Every branch of government, every news organization, people will be using cocaine in it. They'll be fine, but poor people literally have their lives ruined over it. By from Dave Smith on Twitter, and I agree. Rules for thee, not for me, is the standard for the elites. They can put cocaine in the White House, no one will care. But if the cocaine is in my house, you're going to jail for life. So that's unfair. It's unfair like that. Rules for thee, not for me. Nice Venn diagram for libertarian position on the Ukraine war from LP National. I posted that. I said, fuck Putin and his corrupt regime. See top left, I was referring to top left, the Putin's evil for invading. But the Ukrainian government and U.S. government are corrupt as hell as well, and definitely have bad faith factors in them. I think it's funny that a lot of people always go on about how the U.S. has been suddenly start defending it when it comes to Ukraine. I'm just saying, if you were Putin and the U.S. asked for coup in the country next year's and had Victoria Nuland appoint the new government and have the U.S. VP's son on the board of one of the biggest former pro-Russia corporations in Burisma, all while promising not to bend NATO eastward, but doing it anyway, you might justify the invasion like Putin did. Again, Putin is unquestionably in the wrong, but if you think this isn't a proxy war at all, then you are being manipulated by the U.S. government, its friends, and yes, the U.S. government manipulates people too, not just Russia and China. The U.S. is probably increasingly more offensive weapons after saying it wouldn't. You were incapable, and if you can't question it, you were incapable of considering information that hasn't come from the U.S. government's machine. Then we have the framework being built, and Trump tried to start a civil war. They will use the insurrection to remove him from the ballot. From Tim Pool on Twitter, I posted that. I said, honestly, removing Trump from the ballot would be the worst option for the Dems. People have serious Trump fatigue, and he's probably the most beloved GOP candidate there is. We increasingly live under perpetual emergency declarations used to bypass representative government, judicial checks, and due process itself. Those pushing these emergency laws often claim to support liberal democracy while advocating its permanent temporary suspension. From Justin Amash on Twitter, I posted that. I said, the government is increasingly finding near infinite ways to get whatever it wants. The emergency declaration is just, when they have shown that they can't justify doing, pretty much, they can justify doing anything, and no one will hold them accountable for it. Then we have gay sex could be made illegal in 12 states. The Republican controlled Supreme Court decides to repeal Lawrence v. Texas from Chi-Town 20. That's cross from the conservative terrorism subreddit. And I said, don't think they will take the risk, but I believe the same about Roe, regardless of the matter with laws. Or I think you should be able to do whatever you want as long as it's not hurting anyone else, as long as they can give consent. So I think we're gonna. Is there anything else that's been posted? So I think we're gonna wrap it up there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.